Hey guys, this is Alicia, and I want to talk to you guys about my experience of conquering and facing my dark night of the soul. I am very thankful for this experience and to my higher self for placing this shadow phase in my life to help me get past this trauma and reach the level of vibration that I am at now. So to kind of get into my story, um, my problems and outlooks in life and fears, worries, everything, etc., it began when I was a small child. My innocence was taken, and it happened for many years actually until I listened to that little inner voice inside that said it was okay that I reach out to an adult. I did that at age 14. I was taken out of that situation. I grew up and moved on with life. So many thought that I was just a normal teenager, adult, on and outward, but on the inside, I trusted no one. I didn't let anybody in. Years would go by and things would get better, but I hid a lot of my pain inside. I never truly dealt with any of it. I just didn't want to. Given I started going to counselors at one point in my life, I started um, reaching out for help when I finally got to a point that I felt I needed to. But I still, at that point in time, I always blamed my childhood and who did this stuff to me for my downfalls in life. And so the cycle just continued. So to kind of fast forward to a couple of years ago, I got injured and I had a surgery. Not sure exactly what happened there, but I started having connections. I started having thoughts that was in my mind that I knew wasn't mine, and then I later found out that it was mediumship. It was, intuitive messages that were coming through for others. Mind you, all this time on the outside of my life, it looked great, but on the inside I felt pretty empty. As time went by, I started reading and obtaining knowledge, and I started reading, a lot of knowledge-based information that helped me learn how to do tarot. It helped me read, people intuitively, and it felt nice. I was excited with it, and a lot of my life improved at that point in time when I started helping others. It was pretty amazing, actually. I started to feel something was missing, though, as time progressed. It's like I'm helping others, but I'm never truly helping myself. Even though sometimes it does raise your vibrations, but then when you get to the real world, it brings it right back down. So I was like, how is this happening? Why is this happening? Because by this point, I had already, reached out to healing modalities and was trying to look into um, things that would help me release this stuff. And so I forgave and I set it loose, and I dealt with it in that type of manner, and it did help me for a while, but then it just, there was a void there that always, I had these worries, I had these trust issues that never went away. So, over time, I kind of withdrew from, probably for the past 3 months, I withdrew from my spiritual path, and I started asking, what do I do next, because I felt like nothing was ever going to help me get to that better point. And I was like, how can I truly help others if I'm not taking the advice I put out there? Because I would try so hard to take this advice, but then I would turn right and around and have these paranoias and things. Um, you know, One thing that did really make me lower myself was I allowed others to let me think that I was doing something wrong by being in the divinity. Divinity is divine. A lot of people want to make it sound terrible, but it's not. Um, my experiences on religion, and I'm not going to go and bash and get way down into it, but I learned one thing in my experience that God, source, creator, however you prefer to put it, they are real. There is help out there for us in our higher consciousness and ourselves. Religion is just man-made. It's these books and texts put into man-made words and put in their own opinions to control us and keep us a certain way. It actually segregates all of the different types of religions, which, how do you choose one? Why is it that one has to be chosen and that's only God's people? It is wrong on many levels. So, my experience, higher source energy would never place us in a game of life to actually say, okay, you're going to have to choose which religion is the right one. You know, I'm born in North America in a little town, in Oklahoma. How am I supposed to know if Buddhism is exactly the religion that I'm supposed to go through? But I will tell you one thing about Buddhism is they are not judgmental on other people's religions because Buddhism is about being within yourself and happiness. There's a lot of greatness there. A lot of these other religions put these fears. If there's a religion that places fear into your mind, it's not okay because these fears block you to your I am presence. It blocks you from being able to be at one with God because you fear that if you make a mistake, you're doomed, and there's no reason to have to feel that way. So you're like, okay, Alicia, guys, I know, get to the point already. So I noticed I have really been facing this dark night of the soul, not understanding why I wasn't happy within my life. I had healed a lot of my past triggers, so I thought. So I was like, what is the problem? All the manifesting I was doing wasn't working like I really wanted it to, and things were just seeming like I was kind of like everything was falling apart. And then a week ago, I started to listen to the people that I read for and what the questions were that they ask, and I started analyzing everything because it's something that I do. And one of them was, why do they think that they need a person to feel whole? Why do people hear that they're amazing and not truly actually believe it themselves? Sure, you can give positive advice, but truly taking it and accepting it for what it is something that you can't be really sure of. So I was like, I can't really give advice on their lives, how to technically walk through their dark night of the soul. So I started to think and manifest what it is that I needed to learn. I was asking for things beforehand, some of it was coming to fruition, other wasn't. But something felt like it was just missing. And this is something a partner cannot give you. You can't obtain this based on needing people in your life. This is something you have to face on your own. They can support you through this, and generally those people that are on higher vibrations already, that have already dealt with a lot of their life situations, they can help see you through this, but those that do not support you, they will be cut from your life, So I started thinking about what I asked the universe. I'm going to get back to that. I started asking the universe to show me the good that was actually in my life, to see what everybody else seen, to show me how beautiful my mind is, to show me how my life is exactly, and how beautiful my heart is. A couple hours goes by, and I started to feel this warmness within inside. And then I started to get the message that you need to heal your younger self, which I kind of put it in the words of little Alicia. And I was like, really, I have already done this. I forgave and I released it. I used to ask, why did I deserve this and why did this happen to me? But when actually I needed to actually look and stop asking those questions on why I deserve this and everything else, I needed to look at the main cause of the trauma. So I started thinking back to what caused that person's trauma to be a sick and disgusting person. What caused their trauma in their life to be such a low-level being is what I started to ask. When fears are put there through trauma, we build blocks. It's a natural instinct to put a defense up, regardless if we want to admit that. So say a parent abandoned a child, and that child lives in a loveless life or never trusts anyone because they don't want to have their heart broken like that first initial trauma. So, there's a lot of other people. I'm not saying the person that abandoned them was getting an out or an excuse, or the person that done what stuff to me was an excuse, because it's not. It's learning what the low vibrational level of these cycles that are in families, or these cycles that are just in the world that cause hate and war and rape and all these lucid, or I don't even know how you would put it, these horrible acts on humanity. What causes somebody to get to that way? And I started to see that at one point, we all were born with no fears, with no traumatic experiences. We're gonna, a little child's gonna put their hand in a dog's mouth, but until they get bit, that's when the trauma happens. I'm just using that for an excuse or an example, I'm sorry, to kind of explain to you guys what I'm talking about. There's going to be a lot of you that go, no, 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 this isn't my situation. I have a good life. I was happy. I had a good childhood, but something in that childhood, if you're facing the dark night of the soul, that shadow phase is there because there's something that you have not truly released to allow the universe to fill that void with love and healing energy into your body. So, as time, as yesterday, I spent a lot of time thinking about how I ask things, and I started to realize the more I asked the universe and manifested all of these things, that I could see the beauty in my life, to see the beauty in my mind, in my heart, and how much that I actually truly help people, is when I started to realize that trauma and fear kept me from trusting people, which kept me on a lower level, which kept me manifesting all of these negative things into my life that happened along the way. No, you don't deserve to have someone that tell you that you're not worthy, or to make you feel that way. You don't deserve to be cheated on, and you don't deserve to live in poverty or anything like that. But you can manifest those things into your life by lowering your vibration and thinking that's all that you're worth. Not feeling whole inside yourself, and not ever acknowledging that past trauma and realizing and taking that leap of faith to know that the universe isn't going to let you fall on your face if you're raising your vibrations, because your vibe attracts who you attract into your life. Because I will tell you, negative energy is not going to be able to set around such positive, higher level consciousness. It's just they're not going to, because they're repulsed by it. It does not feed their obsession. So, to kind of get on into this, so getting to the root of the problem is where you have to start. And you say, how do you do that? Like I did, like I said just a few minutes ago, I asked the universe to show me why I feel the way that I did with the areas and blocks in my life, why I had this empty space there. What was that? By them, them showing me that it was, I needed to heal a little Alicia, because that is still within me. I grew up, but it's that trauma never actually was dealt with. It was buried deep inside and never faced. And you go, well, how do you face these things? Well, you actually manifest it and ask the universe, because each and every one of us are going to be shown something differently on how to be able to manage and get past that. But wallowing in it, blaming it, is not going to keep you or raise your vibrations to where you need to be. You need to trust and allow the universe to show you these things. Show you how beautiful your life is. Show you the heart that you actually have inside you. Show you your uniqueness. Allow you to see all these things, and when you're feeling that void, all of those empty spaces, the more it gets filled, the more you realize you don't need to hang on to those fears. The more you realize you can just actually release it and move forward. Raising your consciousness is what can actually help with this, because once you release that, it raises your vibration so high. I feel like I'm walking on clouds. I was literally crying tears of joy as I was typing this. I wanted to shout it to the rooftops. Yes, I'm making a recorded video because I wasn't actually for sure if I would get emotional with this situation, and I'm sorry I didn't want to have red eyes. But I also just wanted to get all of this out there to let you know that what you can do for your life, how you can fill that void. I I can't walk with you through your dark night of the soul, but I can give you advice, and that is what I'm going to start doing. So if you guys want to subscribe to my channel, go in, like my Facebook link, I'll put that in, my profile, however you want to start following this. I'm going to start be giving articles and guidance on how I achieve these situations in which I can help you turn it into be beneficial for you guys. So I just want to thank you guys, and I will actually talk to you later. Hey guys, this is Alicia, and I want to talk to you guys about my experience of conquering and facing my dark night of the soul. I am very thankful for this experience.